Greetings, chosen one. Tonight we stand at the threshold of something truly divine. The time has come for your transformation. The Lord has spoken, and His message is clear. I will restore to you what was lost. This is not just a verse, it's a divine decree. Yes, you heard correctly. In this moment you are being called to step into your divine restoration. What has been broken, what has been lost, will be returned to you. Not only will it be returned, but it will be restored to you in a way that is greater than what it was before. The Lord does not simply replace, He redeems and magnifies. Everything that has slipped through your fingers, every dream you thought was lost, every moment of regret will now be restored through divine grace. The Lord sees your pain. He knows what you have endured, the struggles you have faced, the tears you have shed. And tonight, He speaks to you with a message of hope and assurance. Your restoration is near. But before you get too comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. This is a sacred space, a divine conversation, and by connecting here, you are opening your heart to the transformation that awaits. The journey of restoration is not a passive one. It requires your participation, your willingness to receive, and your openness to the divine timing that is unfolding in your life. Your purpose is greater than your pain, chosen one, and tonight we begin the process of restoring what was once lost. The Lord's restoration is not just a promise, it is a divine decree, and He is bringing it to pass in your life right now. The promise of restoration is one of the most profound assurances the chosen one can hold on to. It is a sacred decree, one that stands unshakable through time and circumstance. When life has taken from you, whether through loss, betrayal, or hardship, God's promise is clear. He will restore what was lost and more. There is no heartbreak too deep, no loss too great that is beyond His power to redeem. You may have wondered in your darkest moments if things would ever return to the way they once were, or if the joy you once knew could ever be revived. You may have faced circumstances that made you question whether restoration was even possible. But the Lord's promise is unwavering. What was taken will be returned to you, made even greater in the process. The first step in understanding the divine promise of restoration is realizing that restoration is not simply a return to the old. It is not merely the act of returning something to its original state. No, chosen one, restoration is divine transformation. What God restores to you will not only be what was lost, but also something more precious than you can imagine, something new, refined, and filled with a deeper purpose. The restoration He promises is not a mere repetition of the past, but a rebirth, a new beginning that surpasses what you once had. Think back on the times when you felt that something precious was taken from you. Perhaps it was the loss of a relationship that you thought was meant to last forever. Maybe it was a dream that seemed so close yet slipped through your fingers. Could it have been your peace, your joy, or your sense of direction that was stolen, leaving you feeling lost and unmoored? Whatever it was that you lost, remember this: nothing is beyond God's ability to redeem. He is in the business of restoring brokenness, of making all things new. The broken pieces of your life, the things that seem to slip away and leave you hollow, are the very things He will restore and transform into something greater. For many, the waiting period before restoration can feel endless. You may find yourself wondering when or how it will come. The pain of waiting can feel unbearable, and sometimes the doubts creep in. Is this promise really for me? Will I ever truly experience the restoration I long for? In these moments of doubt, I urge you to remember this restoration requires patience. Just as a garden must lie fallow to restore its fertility, so must you sometimes go through seasons of waiting and preparation. These waiting periods are not a sign of abandonment. They are part of the divine process that ensures the restoration you receive will be abundant and lasting. One of the most profound truths about restoration is that it is always tied to divine timing. There are times when it may seem as though nothing is changing, that the promises you hold dear are distant, and the world around you remains unchanged. But even in these moments, the Lord is at work. His plan for you is unfolding in ways you cannot always see. There are pieces being put into place, preparations being made, and things that are being restored that are beyond your understanding. Trust that the divine is working behind the scenes even when you cannot see the results. God's timing is perfect. The restoration He brings will come at just the right moment when you are fully prepared to receive it. In the waiting, your role is not to rush the process, but to remain faithful. Trust that every moment of waiting is not a wasted moment. God is preparing you, refining your heart, and building your strength to handle the restoration that is about to come. Through this process, you are being transformed. The Lord is not only restoring what was lost, He is also shaping you into the person who can fully embrace the blessings that will come. What does this restoration look like, chosen one? It may come in ways you don't expect. Perhaps the relationship you long to restore will come in a form of deeper reconciliation or healing. Maybe not exactly as it was, but in a way that brings more joy and fulfillment than you thought possible. Or maybe the dream that once seemed so elusive will return, not as a shadow of what you imagined, but as something even more aligned with your true purpose. Sometimes the restoration that God has planned is not simply a return of what was once yours, but a version of it that is even more fitting for your divine path. Restoration is not just about what has been lost, it's about what is being reborn. God's work of restoration is one that encompasses the whole of your life, your relationships, your purpose, your peace of mind, your joy. As He restores the broken parts, He fills them with divine grace, peace, and a renewed sense of hope. What was once barren will become fertile ground. What once felt empty will overflow with life and abundance. But the restoration process does require one thing: openness. You must be willing to receive it. Many times people fear restoration because it may require change or the surrender of things they hold on to tightly. The restoration that God promises may not look the way you expect, and it may involve letting go of old ways, old dreams, or even old relationships that no longer serve your highest good. But rest assured, chosen one, that whatever you release will be replaced with something far greater. The restoration He offers will be worth every step you take, every moment of surrender, and every challenge you face. So I encourage you to look at your life through the lens of divine promise. Look at the areas where you feel broken or lost and envision them being restored in ways that exceed your expectations. Know that God's promise to restore is not conditional, it is absolute. He is a God of restoration, and He is already at work in your life. You are not waiting for the restoration to come. It is already on its way. You are being prepared to receive it, and when it comes, you will see that the restoration is greater than anything you could have imagined. Trust in the process, chosen one. The Lord has spoken. He will restore what was lost, and He will do it in His perfect time, in His perfect way. Understanding what was lost is crucial in the journey of restoration. The Lord's promise is not just that what was lost will be returned to you, but that you will also gain a deeper understanding of the significance of those losses in your life. Often the things we lose, whether they are relationships, dreams, or pieces of ourselves, leave us with feelings of grief, regret, or emptiness. But in the divine plan, these losses are not accidents. They are part of the divine tapestry that prepares you for the restoration that is to come. What have you lost? Chosen one. What pieces of your life have slipped away, leaving you feeling incomplete or hollow? Perhaps it was a relationship that meant the world to you, but somehow drifted apart. Maybe it was a dream that you poured your heart into, only to see it crumble before your eyes. Or it could be that part of your soul, once vibrant with hope, has been weighed down by hardship and time. Whatever it is, it's important to acknowledge the pain and grief that accompany these losses. Acknowledging your loss is the first step in the process of restoration. You cannot truly embrace the fullness of what is being restored unless you first understand the depth of what was lost. But understanding the loss is not about dwelling in sorrow or regret. It's about seeing the divine purpose in the experience. The Lord does not bring pain or loss without a purpose. Every loss is an opportunity for growth. Every broken relationship, every failed dream, and every painful moment is a chance to be refined and to learn more about yourself and the divine. These losses are not the end of your story. They are the chapters that prepare you for the new beginning. Think of the times in your life when you lost something dear to you. Reflect on how it felt, how it shaped you, and how you responded. In those moments, it may have seemed as though everything was falling apart. Yet if you look back now, you may realize that those losses were part of the divine plan to guide you towards something greater. Perhaps the relationship you lost taught you lessons in self-love and boundaries. Perhaps the dream that slipped through your fingers was not meant for you in the form you imagined, but the lessons it taught you brought you closer to your true calling. Restoration doesn't just replace what was lost, it transforms it. When God restores what was once taken, He doesn't just bring back the old. He brings forth a new version, one that is infused with deeper wisdom, greater strength, and more divine purpose. What was lost will be returned to you, but it will be transformed into something even more fitting for who you have become. For example, if you lost a relationship, you may be restored not to the same connection you once had, but to a relationship that is more aligned with your values and purpose. If you lost a job or an opportunity, the restoration may come in the form of a new opportunity that is more fulfilling and aligned with your gifts. In every instance, what is being restored is not just the external circumstance, but your ability to receive it in a deeper and more divine way. Understanding what was lost also requires releasing any resentment or anger you may have about the loss. It's easy to become bitter or to feel betrayed when things don't go as planned. But chosen one, you are called to release these feelings. Holding on to resentment only keeps you tied to the past, preventing you from moving forward into the restoration that is waiting for you. The act of forgiveness is part of your restoration. It is the key that unlocks the door to the new beginnings that God has prepared for you. It may be hard to forgive when the loss feels so painful, but understand that forgiveness is not for the other person, it is for you. It is the act of releasing the hold that the past has on you so that you can move freely into the future. When you forgive, you are no longer bound by the chains of your past experiences. You are free to receive the restoration that God has already prepared for you. The act of understanding what was lost also involves trusting that the divine knows what is best for you. Even when things don't go according to your plan, trust that God is working everything together for your good. The path that led you through loss was not a detour. It was part of the divine journey that has shaped you and prepared you for the restoration ahead. You are not being punished for what you've lost. You are being prepared for what is to come. So, chosen one, reflect on your losses. Acknowledge the pain, the grief, and the lessons they have brought. Understand that every loss is part of the divine plan for your restoration. Release any bitterness or resentment and make room for the new. Know that God's restoration is coming and that it will be far greater than what you lost. You are being prepared to receive the fullness of what is meant for you. Trust, chosen one, that what was lost is not gone forever. The Lord is already at work in your life, preparing the restoration that is coming. What was lost will be returned to you, transformed and infused with divine purpose. The struggle of waiting can often be the most challenging part of the restoration process. The waiting period is a time of testing, a time when the promises of God seem distant and the path ahead is obscured by uncertainty. It is in these moments of waiting that the chosen one is called to develop patience, to deepen faith, and to trust in the divine timing that is at work even when nothing seems to be happening. In a world that values speed, efficiency, and instant results, waiting can feel like a test of your endurance. You may find yourself questioning, why is it taking so long? Why does it feel like nothing is happening? In these moments, remember that the waiting is not wasted time. It is a sacred and necessary part of the divine process. Just as a seed must lie dormant in the soil before it can sprout, so must your purpose sometimes rest in the unseen, preparing for the time when it will burst forth into full bloom. Waiting, especially when it feels like nothing is changing, requires immense trust. It requires believing that God is working behind the scenes even when you cannot see the results. You may not always understand the reasons for the delay, but you are called to trust that the Lord's timing is perfect. The restoration you long for will come, but it will come at the right time, God's time. And when it does, you will see that every moment of waiting, every season of silence, was a part of your divine preparation. During the waiting period, you may find yourself growing restless. The waiting might feel like a heavy burden, and you may wonder how much longer you can endure. But remember, chosen one, that this time of waiting is not meant to break you, it is meant to build you. It is in the waiting that your character is refined, your faith is strengthened, and your trust in God is deepened. The waiting is part of the divine process of shaping you into the person who is ready to receive the fullness of restoration. In the midst of the struggle, it can be easy to become frustrated or discouraged, but this is a time to look inward and reflect. The Lord is not only working to restore what was lost, He is also working in your heart. He is teaching you patience, perseverance, and the ability to rely on Him fully. The waiting period is a time when you learn to trust not in your own ability to make things happen, but in God's ability to do the work in His perfect timing. Faith during the waiting period is a powerful tool. It is during this time that you must learn to walk by faith and not by sight. You may not see the results right away, but you are called to believe that the restoration is already in motion. The Lord is already preparing the way, even when the path is not yet clear to you. Every prayer you've offered, every moment you've spent trusting God, is building the foundation for your restoration. The waiting is not a sign that God has forgotten you. It is a sign that He is preparing something greater for you. During the waiting, you may feel like you're stuck, like you're not moving forward. But remember, there is divine movement even in stillness. Like a butterfly forming in the cocoon, there is transformation happening beneath the surface. You are not stagnant. You are being refined, prepared, and equipped for the next step. Trust that God is working in you even when you cannot see it. This time of waiting is also a time of reflection. It is an opportunity for you to turn inward to seek God's guidance and to ask for clarity. The divine plan for your life is unfolding, and in the waiting you are being prepared to receive it fully. Use this time to align your heart and mind with the restoration that is coming. This is not a time to sit passively. It is a time to actively seek God's will and prepare yourself for the abundance that will be returned to you. The struggle of waiting may feel endless, but remember, the Lord is with you through it all. He understands your impatience, your frustration, and your longing. And He promises that His timing is always perfect. The restoration will come, and when it does, it will be worth the wait. You will look back on this time of waiting and see that it was not a period of stagnation, but one of divine preparation for the greatness that is about to unfold. Patience in waiting is the key to receiving the full restoration that God has promised you. Trust in His timing, chosen one, and know that the divine plan for your life is unfolding exactly as it should. Your restoration is near. Divine preparation during the waiting period is a powerful and essential part of the restoration process. It is during the quiet moments when nothing seems to be changing that God is doing His most transformative work in your life. When you feel that nothing is happening, remember that in the waiting, God is preparing you, shaping you, and positioning you for the blessings that are on the horizon. The restoration you seek is not just about the return of what was lost. It is about the preparation of your heart and spirit to receive it fully. Preparation during waiting often feels like a time of spiritual refining. Just as a craftsman sharpens a blade, the divine is sharpening you, refining your character, your heart, and your mind. You are being prepared for the responsibility that comes with restoration. The blessings that are about to be poured into your life require a foundation of faith, humility, and trust. The waiting period is God's way of ensuring that you are fully equipped to handle the restoration that He is bringing into your life. During this time, you may feel like you're in a holding pattern, as though nothing is moving. But even in stillness, God is doing mighty things. The Lord is strengthening you, deepening your relationship with Him, and teaching you to rely on His timing rather than your own. This period of divine preparation is not a punishment or a delay. It is an essential step in the journey toward complete restoration. It is during the waiting that you are being molded into the person who can fully embrace the gifts that God is preparing to give you. When you feel as if you are stuck or not moving forward, trust that this stillness is actually a form of divine movement. The Lord is working behind the scenes, arranging things in your life that you cannot yet see. Every moment of stillness, every moment of waiting is a chance for you to grow closer to Him, to learn to trust Him more fully, and to align your heart with His divine purpose. Divine preparation is also about cultivating patience and faith. In the rush of life, it's easy to overlook the lessons God wants to teach us in the waiting. But these lessons are often the most important part of the process. You may be learning patience, trust, and perseverance, and although these lessons may not seem immediately rewarding, they will equip you for the journey ahead. God is teaching you how to wait with grace, how to trust even when the way forward is unclear, and how to walk by faith and not by sight. The preparation you are undergoing now will be evident when the restoration comes. The patience and trust you are cultivating today will make you ready for the new opportunities, relationships, and blessings that the Lord is bringing into your life. Without this time of preparation, you would not be fully equipped to handle what is coming. The Lord knows that the transformation He has for you requires patience, trust, and readiness. This is why He has you in this season of preparation. You may also feel like the waiting has stripped you of things you once thought were important, ambitions, plans, relationships, or even desires. But chosen one, the things that are stripped away during this time are often the very things that were standing in the way of your restoration. Just as a tree must shed its old leaves before new ones can grow, you too must release the things that no longer serve your divine purpose. This time of preparation is helping you shed the old so that you can make room for the new. The Lord knows what you need to fully receive the restoration that is coming. He understands your desires, your fears, and your longing for things to be made right. And during this time of waiting and preparation, He is making you ready, not just for the things you have lost, but for the things you cannot yet imagine. His plan is far greater than anything you could have conceived on your own. Through the preparation, You are being made stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with your divine purpose. So, chosen one, do not despair in the waiting. Understand that this is a crucial time in your life. The Lord is preparing you, shaping you, and aligning you with the divine restoration He is about to bring into your life. Trust in the process, and trust that every moment of waiting is part of your divine transformation. The preparation you are undergoing will ensure that when the restoration comes, you will be ready to receive it with a heart full of gratitude, faith, and grace. Remember, chosen one, divine preparation is not a time of stagnation, it is a time of growth. The Lord is preparing you for the restoration that is on its way. Trust in the process and know that everything happening now is part of your divine unfolding. Breaking free from the past is one of the most transformative aspects of the restoration process. While restoration involves bringing back what was lost, it also requires you to release the old and step into the new. In order to fully experience the fullness of God's restoration, you must be willing to let go of the past, of the hurts, the disappointments, and the limitations that once defined you. The past is not where your future lies, and in order to embrace the divine restoration that is coming, you must first let go of the things that bind you to yesterday. It is easy to cling to the past, especially when it holds painful memories or deep losses. Perhaps you've been hurt by others, betrayed by loved ones, or disappointed by situations that didn't turn out as you hoped. These wounds can feel like chains that keep you tethered to a version of yourself that is no longer in alignment with who you are becoming. The pain of the past can weigh heavily on your heart, making it difficult to fully embrace the new life that God is preparing for you. But chosen one, it is time to release the grip of the past. It is time to break free from the chains that have held you back from stepping into your divine restoration. Breaking free from the past does not mean forgetting it. Your past is a part of your story, and it has shaped you in ways that are unique to you. However, it is crucial to understand that your past does not define you. Your mistakes, your regrets, and your failures do not determine your future. In Christ, you are a new creation. The old has passed away, and the new has come. This truth is the foundation upon which your restoration rests. You are not meant to live in the shadow of your past. You are meant to live in the light of your divine calling. The first step in breaking free from the past is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not only for others, it is also for yourself. Holding on to resentment, guilt, or regret only keeps you bound to the past. When you forgive, whether it is forgiving others who have wronged you or forgiving yourself for mistakes you have made, you are releasing the hold that the past has on you. Forgiveness is an act of divine grace that opens the door to restoration. It is a choice to no longer let the past dictate your present or your future. In the process of forgiveness, you will also encounter the need to forgive God. Not that God has done anything wrong, but that you may feel anger or disappointment over how things have unfolded in your life. The pain of loss, the struggles you've faced, and the unanswered prayers may have left you questioning the divine plan. But chosen one, I encourage you to release these feelings of anger and disappointment. Trust that God's plan for you is greater than what you can see in this moment. His ways are higher than your ways, and his understanding far surpasses your own. Trust in his perfect timing, and know that every moment, every struggle, every delay is part of your divine restoration. Once you have forgiven and released the past, you must step forward in faith. Breaking free from the past requires a bold step into the unknown. You cannot remain in the safety of what you know, clinging to the familiar, if you want to experience the fullness of God's restoration. It is a leap of faith, a decision to trust that the new life he is preparing for you will be better, more fulfilling, and more aligned with your true purpose than anything the past could offer. The Lord is calling you to embrace the future with open arms, to step into the restoration he has promised without looking back. The past will try to call you back into its old patterns, but you must resist. You are not the person you once were. You are being made new, and the restoration God is bringing to you requires that you move forward in faith, leaving behind the past and embracing the new. This is not an easy task. Letting go of the past can be painful. It may feel like you are losing a part of yourself, but understand this: you are not losing. You are being freed. The Lord is taking what was broken and making it whole. What you thought was lost will be restored, but in a way that allows you to grow, evolve, and step into the fullness of your divine purpose. The past has served its purpose in your life. It has shaped you, taught you, and refined you. Now it is time to let it go so that you can step into the new. So, chosen one, I encourage you to break free from the past. Let go of the guilt, the shame, the regrets, and the wounds. Allow yourself to be restored fully, without the burden of the old holding you back. Trust in the process of restoration, knowing that as you release the past, you are making room for the future that God has prepared for you. The restoration you seek is not just a return of what you once had. It is a transformation of everything you are and everything you will become. In order to fully experience the restoration God has planned for you, you must be willing to let go of the past and embrace the future He is unfolding. Trust that your divine restoration is waiting for you, and step forward in faith, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. The power of faith in restoration is immeasurable. Faith is the foundation upon which all restoration is built. It is not simply belief in something you can see or understand. Faith is trusting in what has yet to manifest and relying on God's promises even when the evidence around you seems contrary. Faith is the bridge between what is and what will be. It is the unwavering belief that the divine has a plan for your life, and that restoration, no matter how long it takes, is already on its way. Faith is essential during the times when your circumstances seem impossible, when your waiting feels endless, and when you cannot see the full picture of what God is doing. It is easy to believe when things are going well, when your prayers seem answered and your life is aligned with the blessings you've hoped for. But faith truly shines in the darkness, in those moments when you feel as though nothing is changing and the waiting feels unbearable. It is in these moments that faith becomes the anchor that holds you steady. Chosen one, it's important to understand that faith is not passive. It is not simply wishing for something to happen or hoping things will get better. Faith requires action. It's the decision to continue moving forward even when you cannot see the next step. Faith is walking in trust that the Lord is leading you even when the road ahead is unclear. It's praising God for His goodness even when your circumstances may not seem to reflect it. When you exercise faith in your restoration, you are agreeing with the divine plan for your life. You are declaring that you believe in the power of God to restore what has been lost and to bring something greater than what you could have imagined. Faith opens the door to divine possibilities. Without faith, restoration becomes something out of reach, something you may doubt will ever come. But with faith, you align yourself with God's will, knowing that He is already at work even when you can't yet see the fruits of His labor. Faith in restoration also means trusting that the divine knows what's best for you even when you can't understand the delays or the difficulties you face. It's about surrendering your control and placing your trust completely in the hands of God. Sometimes you may feel like you know what's best for your life. You may have a vision of how things should unfold, and when things don't happen according to that plan, you may feel frustrated or disappointed. But true faith is trusting that God's plan is greater than your own. His timing is perfect, and His wisdom surpasses anything you can understand in the moment. Remember, chosen one, that restoration is not always immediate. It may take time, and it may come in ways that you didn't expect. Faith is the ability to stand firm even when you don't see the answer right away. It's the belief that the restoration is already unfolding even if it's not yet visible. It's in trusting that the work of God is happening behind the scenes in ways that you cannot yet comprehend. And in the waiting, God is doing something even more significant. He is strengthening your faith. In this process, the Lord is not only restoring what you've lost, but He is also deepening your faith, refining your trust in Him, and making you more aligned with His divine purpose for your life. The restoration He brings will be more than just the return of what you once had. It will be a greater manifestation of His goodness and His grace. And your faith will be the vehicle that carries you through this transformation. The restoration that you long for is not a distant dream. It is already on its way. And as you continue to walk in faith, you will see that what God restores to you will be far greater than what was lost. The key to receiving this divine restoration is faith. Faith that God is working on your behalf. Faith that His plan is unfolding exactly as it should. And faith that He is bringing your dreams and your desires into alignment with His perfect will. In moments of doubt, remember, this faith is the key to unlocking the restoration that is coming to you. Trust that God's plan for your life is greater than anything you could have imagined, and that your faith will guide you to the restoration He has promised. Overcoming doubts and fears is one of the greatest challenges you will face in your journey toward restoration. The path of faith is not always easy. The human heart, even when filled with the promise of divine restoration, will still encounter moments of doubt, fear, and insecurity. These emotions arise naturally as you await the fulfillment of what God has promised. But chosen one, it is precisely in overcoming these doubts and fears that your strength is solidified and your faith is proven. Doubt is often the enemy of progress. It clouds the mind distorts the truth and fills the heart with uncertainty. When you doubt, you question God's promises and wonder if restoration is really coming. Doubt whispers that you are not worthy of the divine blessings promised to you, or that the trials you faced are a sign that God has abandoned you. Fear too takes hold when you're uncertain about what lies ahead. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, and fear of disappointment can paralyze you, making it difficult to take the steps required to receive your restoration. These doubts and fears are natural, but they are not the defining forces of your life. To overcome doubt, chosen one, you must remember the truth of God's word. The Lord's promises are unshakable, and His timing is perfect. When doubt tries to creep in, remind yourself that God's plan is already unfolding, even if you cannot yet see it. The restoration that is coming is not dependent on your ability to understand every detail of the process. It is dependent on God's power to fulfill His promises. You are not walking in this journey alone. God is with you, guiding you every step of the way, and He is fully capable of fulfilling what He has promised. Fear, too, can only thrive when we allow it to have control. Fear often emerges when we focus on the uncertainties of the future, when we look at the vast unknown and wonder how we will navigate it. But the Lord has not given you a spirit of fear. He has given you power, love, and a sound mind. Fear cannot rule your life when you place your trust in God. You may not know exactly what the future holds, but you do know that God holds your future in His hands. He has already gone before you, preparing the way, and He will guide you through every challenge. When fear arises, you must remind yourself of the truth. You are a child of God, and His love for you is unshakable. The Lord is restoring what was lost, and nothing can thwart His divine purpose for your life. Fear may try to convince you that you are unworthy, that the restoration is too great to receive, or that you are not equipped for what lies ahead. But these lies must be silenced by the truth of God's word. He has equipped you for this journey, and He will equip you for what comes next. Overcoming doubt and fear is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing process. Each time doubt arises, you must replace it with the truth of God's promises. Each time fear strikes, you must turn your heart toward faith, knowing that God is bigger than any obstacle or challenge. The restoration you are waiting for is not something to fear. It is a divine gift, one that will bring peace, joy, and fulfillment. One of the most powerful ways to overcome fear and doubt is through prayer. Prayer is the direct line of communication with the divine, and it is through prayer that you can release your fears and doubts to God. When you pray, you invite the Lord into your struggles, and you allow Him to replace your fear with His peace and your doubt with His confidence. Prayer is not just a way to ask for help. It is a way to deepen your relationship with the divine and trust that God is working in your life. Another way to overcome doubt and fear is to remember the victories God has already given you. Look back at the times in your life when God has come through for you, when He has answered your prayers and provided for you in ways you couldn't have anticipated. These moments of faithfulness are reminders that God will continue to be faithful in your life even when things seem uncertain. The same God who has provided for you in the past will continue to provide for you in the future. Trust, chosen one, that God's restoration is coming and that it will be far greater than anything you could have imagined. Every doubt, every fear, every moment of insecurity is an opportunity for you to trust more fully in the divine process. Each time you choose faith over fear, you align yourself more closely with the divine plan for your life. Restoration is not a passive event. It requires active participation. You must choose to trust, to walk by faith, and to silence the doubts and fears that stand in your way. Remember, chosen one, that the Lord has not given you a spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and a sound mind. Trust in His promises and walk boldly toward the restoration He has prepared for you. The role of prayer in restoration cannot be overstated. Prayer is a sacred conversation with the divine, an intimate dialogue in which you bring your deepest desires, concerns, and needs to the Lord. Through prayer, you are not only asking for restoration, but also aligning your heart and mind with God's will, preparing yourself to receive the blessings He is bringing. Prayer opens the door for divine guidance and understanding, and it strengthens the connection between you and the divine, making the process of restoration more tangible and personal. When you pray for restoration, you are actively inviting God to work in your life, to heal the broken places, and to make whole what has been fragmented. Prayer is the tool that allows you to place your trust in God's timing and His plan for your life. Through prayer, you surrender your worries and your fears, acknowledging that the divine has the power to restore what was lost. Restoration, by its very nature, involves healing. Whether it is physical, emotional, or spiritual healing, prayer is the means by which you invite divine intervention into your process of becoming whole again. As you pray, you begin to see the restoration not only of what was lost, but also of your ability to trust, to heal, and to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Prayer in this way is both a means of asking and receiving, as well as a process of aligning yourself with God's perfect will for your life. In your moments of prayer, let your heart be open to the presence of the divine. It's easy to pray for something specific, perhaps for the return of something that was taken, or for a situation to be resolved. But also, let your prayers be about trusting in God's larger plan. He sees the full picture even when you cannot. By praying for the restoration of your life, you are surrendering your timeline and your understanding of what that restoration should look like. You are giving God the space to fulfill His promises in His way, according to His perfect timing. Prayer also offers the opportunity for reflection and guidance. Often we feel lost or uncertain, wondering how to move forward. In these times, prayer provides clarity. God speaks to us in the quiet moments of prayer, offering divine insight into our lives. When you pray, ask not only for the restoration of what was lost, but also for wisdom, understanding, and guidance. Seek to know how you can align your actions and your heart with the divine purpose that is unfolding in your life. Prayer is the conduit through which God reveals what is needed for your transformation. You may also pray for the strength to endure during the restoration process. Sometimes the act of waiting is the hardest part of restoration, and you may feel tempted to take matters into your own hands. Through prayer, you ask for the strength to trust and remain patient. You ask for the courage to keep walking in faith even when you cannot see the full picture. Prayer will empower you to hold steady during this process, knowing that God is in control. Additionally, prayer brings peace. When you feel overwhelmed by doubt, worry, or the weight of waiting, prayer is the balm that soothes your soul. As you bring your concerns to God, He offers you His peace that surpasses all understanding. This peace comes not because the circumstances have changed, but because you have placed your trust in the One who holds your future. Through prayer, you exchange your anxiety for God's peace, allowing Him to calm your heart and reassure you that restoration is already in progress. The power of prayer in restoration also lies in the act of thanksgiving. As you wait for restoration, take moments during your prayers to thank God for what He has already done and for what He is about to do. Gratitude opens your heart to receive the restoration that is coming. It shifts your perspective from one of lack to one of abundance. When you focus on the blessings, even in the waiting, you align yourself more closely with the divine frequency of restoration. Gratitude brings an energetic shift that accelerates your divine restoration and aligns you with the miracles that are unfolding in your life. The Lord hears your prayers, chosen one. Every word, every tear, every thought is known by Him. He is working in ways you cannot yet see, preparing to restore what was lost. Your prayers are a powerful part of the restoration process, and as you remain faithful in prayer, you will see the manifestation of God's promises in your life. So, chosen one, continue in prayer. Bring your hopes, your hurts, your dreams, and your fears to God. Trust that in this sacred exchange, your restoration is already underway. And know that as you pray, you are opening the door for divine healing and transformation in your life. Reclaiming lost joy and peace is a powerful aspect of the restoration process. When life feels like a constant struggle, or when the weight of past losses hangs heavy on your heart, joy and peace can feel like distant memories. The Lord, however, promises not only to restore what was lost, but to bring back to you a deeper sense of joy, peace, and fulfillment than you've ever known before. The restoration of joy and peace is not a return to what was once familiar. It is a new kind of joy rooted in the divine presence and a peace that transcends understanding. In the process of restoration, God is not simply bringing you back to the place where you were before your loss. Instead, He is leading you to a place of greater joy and peace, a place where you can experience these gifts in their fullest form. This peace and joy are not dependent on your circumstances. They are the fruit of a deep, abiding connection with the divine. God's peace doesn't come from the absence of struggle, and His joy isn't dependent on the absence of hardship. These divine gifts come from knowing that you are fully restored in Him, that He is with you through every trial, and that His love is sufficient to carry you through every storm. Joy and peace are not merely emotional states. They are spiritual realities that God longs for you to experience. These gifts are fruits of the Holy Spirit, and as you align yourself with God's will, you open yourself to receive them. They are gifts that fill the heart with contentment and gratitude, no matter what the external world may be presenting to you. Restoration brings you back to this place of divine peace, where you are no longer controlled by the chaos of life or the turmoil of past regrets. But reclaiming joy and peace requires action on your part. You must be willing to let go of the grief, the bitterness and the pain that have held your heart captive. Reclaiming joy means letting go of the things that steal it away: resentment, fear, and doubt. It means choosing to look at life through the lens of faith and trust, knowing that God is restoring all things for your good. When you choose joy, you are choosing to acknowledge the goodness of God in every moment, even when circumstances seem bleak. You are choosing to focus on the blessings in your life, no matter how small they may seem, and to give thanks for the restoration that is unfolding. Peace, too, requires an intentional choice. In the chaos of life, it is easy to be swept away by anxiety and worry, but peace comes when you choose to trust in God's plan, to release the need to control, and to rest in the knowledge that He is in control. The peace that God offers is not the peace of a world without challenges. It is the peace of knowing that He is with you in the midst of every storm. This peace is a gift that anchors your soul even in the most turbulent of times. The restoration of joy and peace is not something that happens overnight. It is a gradual process that takes time. Just as a garden needs time to grow and bloom, so too does your heart need time to heal and experience the fullness of joy and peace. But every step you take toward forgiveness, every moment you choose to trust, and every time you focus on gratitude, you move closer to the divine joy and peace that God has for you. These moments of restoration will build upon one another, creating a deep well of joy and peace that can never be shaken by external circumstances. Remember, chosen one, that the joy and peace you are receiving are not just for you. They are meant to overflow into the lives of others. As you experience God's restoration, His joy and peace will become a testimony to those around you. Your life will become a reflection of His goodness, and others will see the transformation that God has worked in you. The restoration of your joy and peace is not just a private gift. It is a light that shines brightly for others to see and experience for themselves. God's restoration is not a temporary fix. It is a permanent transformation. The joy and peace that He brings into your life will remain with you even in the midst of future challenges. These gifts are anchored in His love, and they are a constant source of strength and comfort. As you walk in the fullness of your restoration, you will find that joy and peace are not fleeting emotions. They are a deep, unshakable part of who you are in Christ. So, chosen one, embrace the joy and peace that God is restoring to you. Let go of the things that steal your joy and peace, and choose to live in the fullness of what He has promised. Trust that the restoration you are experiencing is a permanent transformation, and let His joy and peace overflow into every area of your life. The transformation in the restoration process is one that transcends the physical and emotional realms, extending into the very core of your being. It is not just about regaining what was lost. It is about becoming a new creation, a more refined and aligned version of yourself, equipped to fully receive and live out the divine purpose that God has prepared for you. This divine evolution is the work of the Lord in your life, shaping and refining you into the person you were always meant to be. When you embark on the journey of restoration, chosen one, you must recognize that you are not just receiving back what was lost. You are being transformed into something greater. This transformation is not instantaneous. It is a process. Much like the refining of gold, the work of restoration involves heat, pressure, and time, but the result is a purity that is far more valuable than the original. Through this divine evolution, you are becoming the person who can carry the weight of the blessings and responsibilities that God is preparing to entrust to you. The transformation that occurs in the restoration process is also one of the heart and spirit. As God restores what has been broken, He also heals your heart, releasing any lingering pain, resentment, or bitterness that may have held you captive. The heart that once carried the scars of loss is now being made whole again, and this process allows you to love more deeply, forgive more freely, and trust more completely. The divine work of restoration is one that goes beyond surface-level healing. It penetrates to the deepest parts of your heart, making you more capable of walking in the fullness of the love and grace that God has for you. This transformation is also reflected in your mindset. As the Lord restores what has been lost, He is renewing your mind. Your thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions are being reformed to align with the divine truth of who you are in Christ. The negative thought patterns, the self-doubt, and the limiting beliefs that have kept you from stepping into your full potential are being replaced with truth, confidence, and clarity. You are no longer bound by the lies of the past. You are being renewed in your mind, able to see yourself as God sees you, whole, worthy, and capable of fulfilling your divine calling. The divine evolution also involves a shift in your purpose. As you are restored, you are also realigned with your divine calling. What you once thought was the end of your purpose is only the beginning of something greater. God is not merely restoring your former dreams and aspirations. He is expanding them, refining them, and revealing a deeper, more meaningful purpose that aligns with His will. You are not just returning to where you were before. You are stepping into a higher calling, one that requires the fullness of who you are becoming through restoration. As this transformation takes place, it will not always be easy. The process of becoming who God has designed you to be often requires the release of old habits, old relationships, and old ways of thinking. This can be difficult and even painful, but trust, chosen one, that the Lord is not asking you to release anything that is meant for your good. The things that are being stripped away are not things you need for the next phase of your journey. What remains is exactly what you need for your divine purpose. The transformation you are undergoing is also spiritual. As God restores you, He is drawing you closer to Himself. The restoration of your soul is a deepening of your relationship with the divine. You are learning to trust God more fully, to lean on Him in ways you never have before, and to walk in step with the Holy Spirit. This spiritual evolution is the foundation of everything else. It is the source of the strength you need to endure, the peace you need to stay calm in the storms of life, and the wisdom you need to navigate your path. But remember, chosen one, this transformation is a continual process. The restoration you are experiencing is not a one-time event. It is a continual unfolding, a divine evolution that will last your entire life. Each stage of restoration brings a new level of refinement, a new depth of understanding, and a greater alignment with your purpose. As you continue to grow, you will see the fruits of this transformation manifest in every area of your life. As you go through this process, understand that you are not alone. The Lord is with you every step of the way, guiding you, strengthening you, and helping you evolve into the person He has always known you could be. The divine restoration is a work that He started in you, and He will bring it to completion. Trust in this divine process, chosen one, and know that each step of transformation brings you closer to the full restoration that God has promised. So, chosen one, embrace this divine evolution. Know that you are being transformed into the person you were always meant to be. Trust in the process and walk forward in faith, knowing that the restoration is not only returning what was lost, it is making you a new creation aligned with your divine purpose. A new beginning is what the divine restoration brings you. It is not just a fresh start, it is the opportunity to step into a life that is more aligned with your true purpose than ever before. The old ways are gone, the old seasons have passed, and now you are standing on the threshold of something new and beautiful, crafted with divine hands. This new beginning is not merely a return to what you once had. It is a transformation of everything that came before, bringing with it a deeper sense of clarity, purpose, and joy. For the chosen one, a new beginning is a time of great excitement and anticipation, but also one of great responsibility. When God restores what was lost, He not only blesses you with what you once had, but He elevates your ability to steward those blessings in a way that brings glory to His name. The life you are stepping into is not a life of mere survival or repetition. It is a life of divine fulfillment, one that is greater than anything you could have imagined before. The past has shaped you, but it no longer defines you. Your restoration is not about returning to the old version of you. It is about embracing the fullness of who you are becoming. With every step forward, the divine is revealing more of your true self to you, the self that is aligned with your higher calling, the self that is capable of receiving all that the Lord has prepared for you. This new beginning is a result of the growth, the challenges, and the lessons you have encountered along the way. It is important to recognize that the new beginning God is offering is not without its challenges. While restoration brings renewal and hope, it also requires courage to embrace the new. Letting go of the past, of old dreams, fears, and even relationships can be difficult, especially when they once held a place of significance in your life. But chosen one, you are being called to let go of the old, to make room for the new. The divine is making space for you to grow into the person He has always intended you to be. As you step into this new beginning, be open to the changes that will come. Know that what is ahead of you is far greater than what lies behind. A new beginning requires an open heart and mind. You must be willing to step out of your comfort zone to trust that what lies ahead is part of God's perfect plan, even if it looks different from what you expected. This divine beginning may look different from your old life, but it will be filled with more peace, joy, and fulfillment than you have ever known. The key to embracing this new season is trust. Trust that the Lord has brought you this far for a reason, and that the restoration He has promised will lead you into a brighter, more abundant future. Your new beginning is also a time to fully claim the divine purpose that is yours. You may have had glimpses of your calling in the past, but now with the restoration of your heart, mind, and spirit, the full clarity of your purpose will come into view. What was once unclear will now be illuminated, and you will be equipped with the strength, wisdom, and discernment to walk confidently in your purpose. This is the moment when you fully step into who you were always meant to be, a person aligned with the divine plan, ready to fulfill the mission that has been set before you. The new beginning is also an opportunity to embrace a deeper level of joy and peace. These blessings are part of the restoration process. God does not simply restore your external circumstances, He restores your internal peace and joy as well. The joy that comes from a life fully aligned with God's will is unmatched. It is a joy that is not based on circumstances, but on the certainty that you are walking the path that has been divinely ordained for you. In this new beginning, the Lord is asking you to let go of the doubts, fears, and insecurities that have held you back in the past. This is a season of divine liberation. You are no longer defined by what was lost by past mistakes or by the circumstances that once weighed you down. You are stepping into a new identity, one that is rooted in God's promises, in His love, and in His divine purpose for your life. So, chosen one, embrace this new beginning with open arms. Know that the Lord has prepared this moment for you, and that every step forward is a step toward greater fulfillment, greater joy, and greater purpose. Your new beginning is here, and it is a reflection of the restoration that has already begun in your life. Step forward in faith, knowing that what lies ahead is far greater than anything you've left behind. The gift of divine alignment is an essential part of the restoration process. When you are aligned with God's will, everything in your life falls into place according to His perfect plan. Divine alignment is the state of being in harmony with your divine purpose, where your actions, thoughts, and heart all reflect the will of God. It is through alignment with the divine that the true restoration occurs, not just in external circumstances, but in the very essence of who you are. Divine alignment ensures that your life flows with peace, clarity, and purpose, even when the external world seems chaotic or uncertain. For the chosen one, alignment with God's plan is the foundation of all restoration. Without this alignment, restoration may feel incomplete or out of reach. But when you align yourself with God's will, you open yourself to receive the fullness of His restoration, trusting that every step, every challenge, and every blessing is part of His greater plan. Aligning with the divine means trusting that God's timing and methods are far superior to your own. It means surrendering your need for control and allowing God to guide you toward your divine purpose. Alignment with the divine is not a passive experience. It requires intentionality. It means consciously choosing to walk in faith, to trust God's guidance, and to obey His call. This alignment requires you to let go of the distractions of life that may pull you away from your true purpose. It's about keeping your eyes fixed on the Lord and trusting that He will lead you exactly where you need to go. This alignment is a daily decision, a choice to follow God's path instead of the world's way. It is the willingness to surrender your plans, desires, and expectations to His will, knowing that His purpose for your life is greater than anything you could envision. When you are aligned with God's plan, the obstacles you face do not seem so insurmountable. The doubts, fears, and uncertainties that once held you back lose their power. The challenges become opportunities for growth and transformation. Divine alignment ensures that every difficulty is not a setback, but a lesson and a step forward. As you walk in alignment with God's purpose, you will find that your life flows with greater ease and that the blessings and opportunities you've longed for are given to you in His perfect time. Divine alignment also means embracing your true identity as a child of God. It means understanding that you were created with a purpose and that every part of your being was designed to reflect the divine. As you align with God, you become more fully who you were always meant to be. The lies and insecurities that once defined you will fall away, and you will step into the fullness of your divine calling. When you are aligned with the divine, you see yourself as God sees you, strong, capable, and worthy of every blessing He has planned for you. As you continue to align yourself with God, you will notice how your life begins to reflect His goodness and mercy. You will experience divine favor in ways you never thought possible. Relationships will heal, opportunities will open, and your sense of peace and purpose will deepen. This is the power of divine alignment. When your life is in sync with God's will, everything else falls into place. The Lord's restoration is not just about bringing back what was lost, but about realigning your heart, mind, and actions with His divine purpose for your life. In this alignment, you will find the peace that surpasses understanding and the joy that comes from knowing that you are walking in God's perfect will. Sometimes, divine alignment requires a shift in perspective. It requires you to step away from your own plans and desires and see things through God's eyes. This shift is often challenging, as it involves letting go of your own expectations and trusting in the greater plan that God has for you. But this shift is also the key to true restoration. The more you align your thoughts, desires, and actions with God's will, the more you will experience the fullness of His restoration. The restoration process is not just about returning to what was lost. It is about stepping into something greater. Divine alignment prepares you to receive these greater blessings by positioning your heart and mind to receive God's best. It allows you to trust that the Lord will lead you to exactly where you need to be, even when the path ahead is unclear. When you are aligned with God, you will begin to see doors open that you never imagined and experience a sense of peace and purpose that transcends your circumstances. Remember, chosen one divine alignment is the key to receiving the fullness of your restoration. When you align yourself with God's plan, your life flows in divine harmony. Trust in His guidance, surrender your will to His, and walk confidently toward the restoration that is already unfolding in your life. God's perfect timing is often the hardest part of the restoration process to grasp. As the chosen one, you may feel the weight of waiting, the quiet, unmovable passage of time when you are unsure of what lies ahead. The promises God has given you seem far off, and the vision of restoration that you hold in your heart feels distant. Yet, it is precisely in this waiting that God is preparing you, shaping you, and aligning everything according to His divine timing. Understanding and trusting in God's timing is essential for receiving the fullness of the restoration He has promised. The world, with its quick fixes and immediate gratifications, will often push you to seek answers now, to rush toward the next thing, to get everything you desire in an instant. But the Lord's timing is different. His timing is perfect, and it is in His perfect timing that restoration occurs. When you step into the divine flow of God's timing, you can trust that every moment is part of the process, even when it doesn't seem like anything is happening. God is never early, and He is never late. His timing is flawless. Even in the moments of waiting, He is preparing you for what is coming. The seasons of silence, the periods where nothing seems to be changing, are not moments of abandonment. They are moments of divine preparation. Trust that what you are going through right now, the waiting, the silence, is part of God's perfect orchestration. You might be tempted to hurry up the process. Perhaps you felt the frustration of waiting, the longing for restoration to come faster, for the doors to open more quickly, for your desires to be fulfilled sooner. Yet God's timing is not just about fulfilling your wishes, it's about ensuring that the restoration you receive is in alignment with your destiny. When you rush the process, you risk missing the fullness of what God wants to give you. There are moments when you may feel like you're standing still, like nothing is moving forward, and you might wonder if God has forgotten His promise to you. But it is in these very moments that God is working the most. Think of a seed planted in the soil. It doesn't show immediate growth, and for a while it seems like nothing is happening. But under the surface, roots are growing deep, preparing the seed for the moment when it will break through the soil and grow into something beautiful. This is how God's timing works in your life. In the waiting, the groundwork is being laid for a greater, more beautiful restoration than you can imagine. Understanding God's timing means surrendering your own timeline and trusting that His is far better. It means letting go of your need to control when and how restoration will happen. The Lord knows the perfect time for everything. His timing is not only about when things will happen, but also about when you are ready to receive them. Just as a tree takes time to grow strong enough to bear fruit, so too are you being prepared for the greatness that God is bringing into your life. It's important to recognize that restoration isn't just about receiving back what was lost. It's about being restored to the fullness of what God has for you. The waiting season, though it may seem like a delay, is actually the divine preparation you need. It's teaching you patience, trust, and resilience. It's building in you the strength to carry the blessings and responsibilities that will come with your restoration. God's timing also ensures that your restoration comes in the way that is best for you and in the time that is best for His purpose. What you may see as a delay is actually God's perfect orchestration to ensure that everything falls into place at just the right moment. Your restoration isn't just about you, it's about fulfilling God's divine plan. It's about how your life will touch others, how your testimony will inspire, and how the restoration you receive will ripple out and change the world around you. So, chosen one, trust in God's timing. It may not always be easy, and it may test your patience, but know that every moment is part of a divine design. The Lord is with you in every season, preparing you for the moment when your restoration will fully come to pass. And when it does, you will see that the timing was perfect, the wait was worth it, and the restoration is far greater than anything you could have imagined. Remember, chosen one, that God's timing is perfect, and His plans for you are far greater than you can comprehend. Trust that every moment of waiting is part of His divine process, and that in His perfect time, your restoration will unfold in ways that exceed your expectations. A final affirmation of restoration is the closing act in the divine process. As the chosen one, you have walked through the trials, the waiting, and the transformation that has prepared you for the restoration that God has promised. And now, as you stand in the light of this truth, it is time to affirm that your restoration is not only coming, it is already in motion, unfolding before your very eyes. You have been restored, chosen one, and the fullness of your restoration is now being revealed. Affirmation is a powerful tool in the process of receiving divine restoration. When you affirm that your restoration is happening, you align your heart and mind with the divine truth that God is at work in your life. This affirmation is not just a statement of hope, it is a declaration of faith. You are choosing to believe in the promises of God, trusting that everything you have lost will be restored, and that what lies ahead will be greater than anything you could have imagined. Affirming your restoration means acknowledging the divine work that has already taken place within you. The Lord has been with you every step of the way, guiding you, preparing you, and shaping you into the person you are meant to be. The restoration is not just a future event. It is an ongoing process that has been taking place all along. Every moment of struggle, every tear, every prayer has been part of the divine plan that has led you to this moment. And now, you are ready to fully receive what God has promised. In this moment of affirmation, take a deep breath and allow the truth of God's restoration to fill you completely. You are not the same person you were before the trial, before the loss, before the waiting. You have been transformed, and now you are stepping into the fullness of your divine purpose. Your heart is open to receive the restoration that is yours by divine right. The Lord has heard your prayers. He has seen your struggles, and now He is fulfilling His promise to restore you. Affirmation is also an act of gratitude. As you affirm your restoration, give thanks for what God has already done in your life. Thank Him for His faithfulness, for His patience, and for the transformation that has taken place. Even in the waiting, even in the struggle, God has been working. And now, as you step into the fullness of your restoration, take a moment to express your gratitude for His goodness, His grace, and His never-ending love. Restoration is not only about the return of what was lost, it is about the new life that is waiting for you. As you affirm your restoration, you are affirming that you are ready to step into the next chapter of your divine journey. The Lord has not only restored what was broken, but has also prepared you to walk in a new season of blessing, purpose, and fulfillment. Your restoration is not just about healing, it is about growth, expansion, and the new opportunities that God has already set before you. As you walk forward in the fullness of your restoration, know that this affirmation is not just a one-time event, it is a continual practice. Every day, choose to affirm that you are restored, that you are walking in the divine purpose that God has set for you, and that His promises are unfolding in your life. This act of affirmation will strengthen your faith, deepen your trust, and keep you aligned with the divine plan for your life. You may face challenges ahead, and you may encounter moments of doubt, but when you affirm your restoration, you are reminding yourself that the divine work is already underway. The Lord is restoring everything you've lost, and He is preparing you for something even greater. So, chosen one, affirm your restoration today. Speak it into existence with faith and trust. Believe that God's promises are already being fulfilled in your life. And walk forward, knowing that the restoration you seek is already here, unfolding in ways you cannot yet fully understand, but will one day fully embrace. May this affirmation carry you into the fullness of your divine purpose, chosen one. Trust in the process and know that your restoration is complete. You are walking in the light of God's promises, fully restored and ready for what is next.